Welcome to Earl Owens Park, tucked behind Williamstown High School, here in the woodlands of Gloucester County. This evening, it's Friday night baseball here in the Tri-County Conference between the Glassboro Bulldogs and the Williamstown Braves. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins. This is our second night game of the year, and honestly, it feels more like a summer game. I'm a lot more casual. I've got a T-shirt instead of a polo, and we're right here in the woodlands of Gloucester County here in Williamstown, as we've got one big school versus one small school, Glassboro and Williamstown, facing off tonight. Glassboro's had a bit of a heartbreaking start to the season. They're 1-5, an extremely projectable team. We talked about a lot in our preseason previews of Glassboro that they were going to be a team to watch, and right now they have been, but not for the right reasons. They're 1-5. They've been walked off twice, which really goes to show that this team would have had a few more wins if not for a few unfortunate circumstances. They got walked off by Overbrook last Wednesday, and just this past Tuesday got walked off by Pittman by a final score of 6-5. They also lost their first Diamond Conference game, or their second Diamond Division game versus Woodstown. They got shut out on the road by a score of 3-0. But as we said, they are a very projectable team, and with a very young team like Glassboro, they're bound to go through some growing pains. The same starter that we saw when we last saw the Bulldogs, Jude Dempster, is the starter in tonight's contest. He's not had the same amount of fate as he did last year as a freshman, but he has had some successful moments. He's got a 7 ERA in 7 innings this season and a whip over 3. But again, as a sophomore, it means he's got this season and 2 more after that to show the Bulldogs what he's worth. He throws high 80s. He's an extremely reliable pitcher when his stuff is right. And I think versus this Williamstown team, it's going to be a good test for Glassboro, because after losing the games that they did early in the season, they've already played Woodstown twice, and they're 1-3 in the Tri-County Diamond. They've taken care of a lot of their divisional games already, which leaves the back half of their schedule pretty wide open. They opened up the season with a 12-2 loss to GCIT. That was their first opportunity to win versus a Group 4 school, and their next is going to be tonight here versus Williamstown. Not to mention later on in the season, they'll play Cumberland in mid-April, followed up by a game versus ACIT on the last day of April. They'll also play Deptford later on. So Glassboro is certainly going to have their fill of big schools to play, but for Williamstown, they're really looking on the up and up. Only won 9 games last year under Jim Slade, who's been the head coach here since 2021, but they're now 2-2, and the 2 losses that they had have been incredibly admirable. They lost 1-0 at home to Clearview. That was with a 5th inning, 1-run frame for Clearview that put them ahead, and they never looked back. And the other game that they lost was 7-6 to Delsey, a strong contender in South Jersey Group 3. So you want to say, in terms of hypotheticals, if Williamstown had a couple of things go their way, they could be 4-0. But tonight they're 2-2, and that's what the reality is. They've got Tucker Cryer on the hill for Williamstown. He's making his first varsity appearance, which is partially why I think this game could really go either way tonight. For Glassboro, it's a punch-up test. Are they able to be a Group 1 that can succeed against these Group 4s and get some leverage in South Jersey Group 1? After all, they were a 10 seed in the bracket last year, but won their first-round playoff game over Riverside. Meanwhile, for Williamstown, will they be able to show off their showcases under the lights, especially since this is not a night where Jimmy Gallagher is pitching, the Appalachian State come in? Well, we've got some great baseball coming up tonight as we preview the weekend's events coming up. We've got the Ralph Shaw Classic at Audubon Saturday and Sunday, 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. It's going to be a weekend chock full of action, and we can't wait to share it with you. So we've got some Friday night baseball coming up your way here from Earl E. Owens Park in Williamstown, New Jersey. Glassboro and the Williamstown Braves coming up right after the break. Welcome back here from Owens Park in Williamstown. Starting pitcher for for Williamstown is Tucker Cryer. And as you see on the left side of your screen, there's not much to talk about him. It's 5'11", 165. This is his first career varsity appearance, either batting or pitching. Williamstown has not had the same amount of pitching as they did last year after a fairly strong senior class, and they're going to go into this game looking to get their third win of the season. For Glassboro, led by Coach Anthony Korma, their starting lineup for tonight's contest. Leading off will be Ryan Newell, the catcher. Joey Tung is the shortstop, batting second. Brennan Crosby, the third baseman. In the 3 slot, Jude Dempster is your sophomore starting pitcher and the leadoff batter. For Glassboro in the 5 slot, it'll be Aiden Evangelisti at first base, Jimmy McMahon in center field batting 6th. Ryan Gadadzik is the right fielder batting 7th. Wolfgang Donaway is the designated hitter in the 8th slot, and Cody Harrell is at second base batting 9th for the Bulldogs. Just past 6:01 here at Owens Park. Glassboro and Williamstown will both be in their white jerseys, but Williamstown wearing an alternate dress tonight with the Wisconsin Badger blue donned across their chest along with their blue caps. Glassboro in the maroon and gold along with their pinstripes. Here from Owens Park, it's Friday Night Baseball here in the Tri-County Conference. I'm Dan Wilkins here with Vincent Focht, showing bunt, and the first pitch is up and in for ball 1. We are underway. Newell was going to try to square around and get one down to start, but to no avail. Newell, the sophomore, batting .263. Homered during his freshman season. This season, though, 5 for 19. 1 RBI, 1 extra base hit. Last season, a .292 hitter with 14 RBIs, 19 for 65, and that aforementioned homer we mentioned has not recorded more than 1 hit a game, as here's a fly ball to center field. It'll go out towards second base, and making the catch will be Mike Montone for out number 1. And this is how this ball game begins. 68 degrees here from Williamstown, New Jersey. I had this game circled on my calendar because when Williamstown approached me and said, "Would you like to cover this game?" I said, "Let me look at the weather," because it really, I wasn't sure second week of April how it was going to turn out, but it only got warmer throughout the week. As that one's away to Jacob Tung, and it's 1-0 from Tucker Cryer. Just 2 nights ago, just about 48 hours ago, we did Cape Atlantic Baseball, Millville, and Vineland, and by the time the game was done, the real feel was 34 degrees. And my hand was as red as a tomato with how cold it was. Not only that, it was windy, but Mario Toro ended up having a fantastic performance. 7-inning complete game shutout, 8 Ks, just 1 hit. Flirted with a no-hitter in the game. Here's a ground ball back over the middle. That one's right to the glove of Cryer. Throw to first is in time, and there's one away. So great job by the junior in his debut. Coming out to make that prerogative on defense, and that'll be out number 2 for Brennan Crosby. Crosby, the third baseman. One of those 5 freshmen we saw for Glassboro last season. We only saw them once. It was a game versus Woodstown. They lost the game 15-5 over at Glassboro High School. David Cohen was on the call for me with that one. It was a chilly day, but Glassboro in that game showed their first chops of what could be in the future, and that's why I said during the offseason that this team has a chance to be something special. Maybe not last year, but when you've got this many freshmen and sophomores on a Group 1 team, it allows guys like Anthony Korma to really develop them, and then if one of those freshmen, one of those sophomores takes on the role, whether voluntarily or not, as a team leader, works out really well. This one's poked out towards right center field. It will drop for a base hit. Just falling in front of Elijah Lonnie. And the first hit of the day comes from Brennan Crosby for Glassboro. That will bring up Jude Dempster, the pitcher in today's contest. A pitcher and a DH. Mentioned Wolfgang Donaway, DHing for Will Boggins in left field. Dempster hitting 158 this year, though, looking to get his numbers up. And he'll hit a fly ball to the right field side. And out of play, 0-1, batting 158. One of his 3 hits, though, is a homer. Homered in a 9-8 win for Glassboro over Williamstown. That is their one lone win this year. And a wild game it was. Woodstown scored 3 runs in the 5th. Glassboro responded with 5 in the bottom of the 5th. And then 4 runs in the 7th for Woodstown, 2 in the 7th for Glassboro to win the game 9-8. Flied out towards center field, running in and making the shoestring catch is the center fielder, Marco Colbert, and the inning is over. We'll see 1, 2, and 3, Mike Montone, Anthony DiCerno, and Noah Romero for Williamstown when we return in the bottom of the 1st. Welcome back. Your starting pitcher for the Glassboro Bulldogs is Jude Dempster. Saw him last April versus Woodstown. He's got 7 innings this year, and he's pitched in 4 out of the 6 games that Glassboro has played in. He's got an ERA of 8, a whip of 3.14, 11 walks, 8 Ks. Although last year his numbers were a lot better, so he's going to look to get those numbers down as he faces the Williamstown Braves. We'll lead off with Mike Montone at second base. It'll be Anthony DiCerno, the shortstop, and then Noah Romero at third base. And how about Braden Kearney at first base? All 4 infielders batting 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the Braves. Matt DiCerno is the left fielder batting 5th. Kevin Devlin is the catcher batting 6th. Elijah Lonnie is in right field batting 7th. Tim Bufford is the designated hitter in the 8th spot, and then he will hit for the pitcher, Tucker Cryer, and Marco Colbert is in center field batting 9th. So Dempster, after a short delay, is getting ready to face Montone. Montone batting .417 in the young season, takes that one out. No, strike was called. 0-1. 5 for 12. Had 5 RBIs last season, still looking for his first this year. Had 3 singles in Williamstown's 8-2 win over Washington Township. Really don't know what to make of the Tri-County Royal this year. You've got Gloucester Catholic at 7-2. I think that one's pretty much a given, but Clearview's 4-1. They just knocked off Kingsway yesterday for Nick Core's 100th win. There's a strike called, 1-2. You've got Washington Township at 4-1 as well. Williamstown at 2-2. Kingsway at 3-2, and GCIT at 4-3. Everybody is at 500 or better. That one's low. 2-2. Dempster throws just about high 80s. As we said, even though the numbers that we showed from him were pretty high, he had a 3 ERA as a true freshman last season. 49 innings, 17 walks, 71 strikeouts. as a true freshman, was top 10 in the state, and with one of the top freshmen in that regard, and he picks up another one. Strikeout number 9 for Dempster on the year, number 1 on the afternoon, and Martone is down on strikes. So it'll bring up Anthony Discerno, excuse me. The junior, 154 hitter this year, career 189 hitter for Williamstown. 2 for 13, 1 RBI. Came in Wednesday's 7-2 win over Cumberland, another team that it's hard to get a beat on. Very unpredictable. Cumberland 4-3, started off 4-0, but has now lost their last three in a row. To be fair, some of those wins, Salem Tech, and Middle Township might not mean much, but they beat Vineland. Team that I have is top 10 in South Jersey. I mean, they're 6-2. They're great. But then they lost to Cherry Hill West 13-9, GCIT 7-5, and then Williamstown, the aforementioned Braves, 7-2. 1-1. Out, no, called a strike. Hey, we're in center field. I'm not going to judge balls and strikes tonight. As the 1-2 from Dempster. Outside, 2-2. In the on-deck circle, Noah Romero. Williamstown as a team hitting .210 on the season, but they have a 1.50 ERA. That's one thing that's hard to judge. I like to say that to be a star-filled team in South Jersey, there's another strikeout for Dempster. There's 2. I mean, they've only had 3 pitchers take the mound going into today. Tucker Cryer is the 4th that we've seen. Jimmy Gallagher's thrown 8 innings. Matt O'Rourke has thrown 7 2/3. And Braden Kearney has thrown 12 1/3. So that's 28 innings split across 3 pitchers. That one's low to Romero, 1-0. For Jimmy Gallagher, to be specific, a transfer from Gloucester Catholic who we saw on opening day last year for Williamstown versus Clearview. A game that Clearview won 14-1. It's a 1-0. Ground ball by Romero, foul, down the third base line. But Gallagher has pitched in both games that Williamstown has lost. That's the 1-0 loss to Clearview and the 7-6 loss to Delsea. And in that Delsea game, he allowed 4 runs, but none of them were earned. And he only pitched 2 innings. That was partially because Williamstown committed 5 errors in the game. Strike on the inside corner, 1-2. But in that Clearview game, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts. And the only thing that mattered was Pat Jurgens' RBI in the 5th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trying to keep this game scoreless through 1 for Jude Dempster. Breaking ball, tapped towards third, falling down, now recovering is Crosby, and the throw is not in time. They were able to get that one in, and Brennan Crosby fell. He tripped over himself before he was able to make the play. He was able to recover, but that will be going to score an E5 on Brennan Crosby. That might not be how it is in the home scorebook, but I think because of the fact that Crosby fell down, that would have been an ordinary effort play nonetheless. Umpires are going to talk this one over, though. Maybe they think that, or maybe Korma thinks that he was out. Again, we're in the outfield tonight. There really isn't a great spot for us to set up behind the plate, so I don't really want to ruffle any feathers. They are going to call them safe, so Korma just wanted them to look at it. There's no replay review, but it'll be Braden Kearney, the batter, with one on, 2 away. So Dempster facing Kearney with a runner on for Williamstown. Outside, 1-0. For Kearney, 214 average. 3 for 14. As we said, though, Williamstown hitting just above the Mendoza line as a team. but also pitching extremely well. Now the runner's going to go. It's a delayed start, and nobody was able to get in there as Harrell went to cover the bag, and then so did Tung, but nobody was able to get there, and that's a stolen bag for Romero. It'll be 1-1. Dempster looks back. The 1-1. That one's low and inside. 2-1. But the barometer, I like to say, is that if you're hitting over 300 as a team, which sounds crazy high if you're not familiar with high school baseball, but if you're batting over 300 as a team and your ERA is under 3, it's the 3-3 rule, then I'd say that you're going to have a pretty good season. Because in South Jersey, not only do you need good hitting to win, but you also need good pitching. Should be without saying, but obviously we know the phrase pitching wins championships. You can see back there at short, Jacob Tung trying to draw the runner, and now Dempster will step off. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for the Bulldogs on the top of the second. Dempster, Evangelisti, and McMahon. For a Glassboro team looking for win number 2 on the season. Dempster, leg kick, swing and a miss. It's on the foul tip, and the inning is over. 3 Ks for Dempster in the first. No wonder why he had so many as a freshman. 71 last year, and now up to 11 on his sophomore campaign. No score through 1 here at Owens Park.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear.
Woo!
Welcome back here from Owens Park in Williamstown. I'm Dan Wilkins. My producer is Vincent Focht of this evening. 6 o'clock first pitch, had a quick first inning. And it'll be 4, 5, and 6 for Glassboro. Jude Dempster, the pitcher, leading us off. Tucker Cryer had a 1-2-3 frame. Had 2 fly balls and a grounder right back to the mound. First pitch to Dempster is a strike called. 0-1. That one's well outside. Yeah, I think the big thing for Tucker Cryer, first of all, the fact that Jim Slade is starting him tonight versus a non-division opponent. I wouldn't say that the pressure is not high for Tucker Cryer. It's how about this? He's going to get another comebacker, one hop right to the mound, and Tucker Cryer putting himself on alert on the mound as Glassboro with 2 grounders right back to the junior pitcher making his debut, and he records the first out of the inning on that 1-3 putout. Batter will be Aiden Evangelisti. But one thing that I was saying is that I've seen pitchers before they kind of get thrown into the fire. And you can do that if you're a dominant team where everybody fears you and everybody wants to avoid scheduling you. But for Williamstown, this team has a little bit of wiggle room to work with in terms of experimentation. They went 9-16 last year. So I think in terms of what this team is willing to do, I don't think it's a harmless thing to start a rookie pitcher, a varsity debut pitcher, versus a Group 1 team. Because if it works, it works. And if it doesn't hurt you at the end of the day. It only hurts Glassboro as much as it hurts you. Even though it's a conference game, it's a non-division game. And you're going to face a lot of bigger competition in all of your scheduling from here on out. Still have to play Gloucester Catholic twice. They've only played 2 divisional games, one versus Clearview, one versus Washington Township, so that will be sprinkled throughout their schedule. Strike called. We will see Williamstown again on May the 4th versus Gloucester Catholic at the Joe Barth Field. They're 7-2, 9 games this season. Played 4 of them down in Cary, North Carolina at the USA Baseball National Invitational. That one skied out towards center, and it'll be a base hit for Evangelisti. 1-out single right back up the middle. Got the job done. And it'll put a base runner on for Glassboro. First hit of the day. Williamstown, at least in my book, will be searching for their first hit. That was a point of controversy on Wednesday night with Millville and Vineland, was that with those two teams, first of all, neither team had a hit until the bottom of the 4th inning. Vineland finally got one as there's another fly ball, right field line. It's going to drop foul. But in that game, first 3 innings, nobody had a hit. Vineland finally broke it open in the bottom of the 4th inning. They scored 4 runs, rather. Made it 6-0. And I was thinking with how cold of a night it was, maybe they'd have a mercy rule, but the offense kind of staggered out, and Millville only had 1 hit. It was Garrett Shapiro. Had a 1-out base hit back up the middle. Throw to first is not in time. Glassboro in anticipation there, waiting for the call from the base umpire. It was a fun game, don't get me wrong. I mean, there was, a lot of work that we had with Ryan Renoski and Quinn Broadcasting. They do an excellent job in Cumberland County, so we were glad to be an accompaniment to them. And even though it was an 8-0 game, it's probably the most entertaining 8-0 game you're going to get because of the possibility of a no-hitter. That's always fun. But Toro in that game, a former commit to Felician, had 8 strikeouts and a complete game shutout in the victory. 1-1, sinker ball, strike called. I'm going to get thrown off by this home plate umpire a little bit because he's kind of taking a softball style approach to balls and strikes where if it's a strike called, you got to wait a second or two for him to call it. So I'm going to try to hold my reservations right away. As a throwback to first, another one not in time. It's a little bit different to see both teams wearing white uniforms, but we'll see how it goes for them. One thing I'll say is that even though this is a night game, the lights aren't on yet, as this one skied foul behind the plate. I had a bad angle on that at first. I thought that was headed right towards us for a sec, but it is back into the parking lot, and it's 1-2. For Jim McMahon, the center fielder, another sophomore, 235 average, 4 for 17. All singles for McMahon as that one's up and in. And if Glassboro can get multiple base runners on here, I think that will be important for the Bulldogs going forward, just because off of a rookie pitcher that you've never seen before at the varsity level, you want to get your feet wet versus this guy. You don't really want to let him settle in. As there's a fly ball to right, going over is Lonnie. He will make the catch down the line. Going back to the bag, that'll be out number 2. I think that Cryer can definitely have some solace in his outfield defense, as that will bring up Ginzadzik. One for 11 this year for the sophomore. Went 2 for 9 last season, so this is his really first full varsity season. They're going to back pick, and it's not in time. But we talked ad nauseum about this Glassboro young core. They have 7 sophomores in the class of 2028 on their varsity roster. That's Gonzadzik, Tung, Crosby, Harrell, Newell, Dempster, and McMahon. All of them are in the starting lineup tonight. Boggins is in the field only. He's a senior. And so is Wolfgang Donaway. So Donaway and then Evangelisti. So it's 3 seniors, 7 sophomores in this lineup tonight. That ball skips away. Couldn't reel it in. Devlin behind the plate. That'll move the runner up. And going into scoring position will be McMahon. That's going to be big for Glassboro because now a short base hit can score McMahon here. And it will definitely be encouraging for Gonzadzik, who's been in a bit of a slump to start the year. Neither of these teams have had excellent starts at the plate. Williamstown batting .210 as a team, Glassboro batting .224 as a team. The only difference maker is that Williamstown on the mound has a 5.81 ERA. Or rather, Glassboro on the mound has a 5.81 ERA. Holding it down, though, has been Brennan Crosby and Jim McMahon, both with 3 and under ERAs. 2 balls, 1 strike from Cryer. And a strike called. So that was strike 3. The inning is over. They leave the runner in scoring position after the wild pitch. No harm for the Bulldogs. Or I should say, no harm for the Braves. We'll see if the Braves can make some harm at the plate in the bottom of the second here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Bottom of the second, this broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Let's hold on, fly ball, right field, shallow, down the line. It's going to drop, and it is a foul ball given by the batter's turn back to home as Matt DeCierno will bat. As we said, though, this broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. You can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road, just minutes from Route 55. And not far from Glassboro either. 0-1 to Matt DeCierno. Line drive. Scooped by Crosby. Great play, and scooped at first. Put that one in a waffle cone. It's a double scoop as the third baseman brought that one in on a short hop, and the first baseman brought it in on a short hop. There's one away. And that's what's going to make Glassboro successful in this game if they can rely on their defense. I mean, that was a great 1-2 there with Crosby and Evangelisti. Just to see two guys in the span of 5 seconds make dirt scooping plays, that's going to be strong. And considering Williamstown and their loss to Delsey earlier this week gave up 5 errors, sometimes if you can't win on offense and you can't win at the plate or you can't win on the mound, sometimes you have to win the game in the field. And it's outside to Devlin. Catcher today for Williamstown. Devlin, a sophomore, batting .231. 1 extra base hit this season. Came in April 1st's game versus Washington Township. That's a game that I think will have a lot of implications in the Royal, because that's Washington Township's only loss of the year. Williamstown had a 7-run third in that game, won it 8-2. Right down the pipe. Came back on the 3-0, got one back. I really like how Dempster works, and I can now finally see him in kind of an unvarnished position, because we weren't seeing him when it was 30-mile-an-hour winds and 45 degrees. We're seeing him in a lot different environment, and a lot more natural environment, because he can't commit to a college yet, at least not publicly. So he's going to be uncommitted for at least another year. And a strike called. Oof. It's not going to gain you any favorability with the home plate umpire as Devlin tried to toss his bat down the third base line. But instead gets rung up for strike 2. Full count, coming back in the count. Dempster to Devlin, and that one is ball 4. So Kevin Devlin, strong effort by Jude Dempster to come back in the count. It's always difficult for young pitchers, especially at that level. You know, when you're down 3-0 in the count, you've got to find a way to just get strikes at any kind. He throws a fastball in the 3-0, gets it right down the pipe, and then gets a 3-1 curveball to go as well. I thought that was a bit ambitious to throw the 3-1 curveball, but after all, it made an impact. It was called a strike, so you can't be too mad at it. And the batter will be Elijah Lonnie. Pinch running at first will be Connor Torcasio. Or Torcasio? Not sure, but they're going to throw back to first. No play. So that's the first walk by Dempster. Williamstown still looking for their first hit in the game. Looking to get it here from the right fielder, Elijah Lonnie. Jim Slade told us before the game, every time we do baseball games, and really I do it for basketball too, or really any sport besides football, because we don't really get to talk to the coaches for football. For basketball and baseball, I always like to go through the pronunciations and make sure that I have it right, because after all, we're providing the service for these kids, and it would be a disservice to not get the names right. Torcasio goes, throw down to second is in time. Gunned down at second base by Ryan Newell. And that's out number 2. So the pinch runner, I don't know if he's sure that he's out or Jim Slade is going to try to contest this call. So he's more or less what this is you're asking the 2 umpires to talk. And we'll have a replay of it to see whether or not it's the right call. They will say Torcasio is out, so they will not confer. Yesterday, in the game between Rowan and Rutgers Camden, we had a lengthy replay review, and a real replay review, not just us putting our replay on. It was an actual umpire-assisted review for a call at the plate in the top of the second of their game. Rowan ended up winning yesterday, 11-8. Kyle Lamontier had a solo home run to break the tie in the 9th inning. It was an excellent game. 8-2 Rowan. Looked like they were going to run away with it, and it was going to be a long night, and then Rutgers-Camden came back 6 runs across the late innings, tied it up in the 8th. And as quickly as they tied it up, Rowan got it back with 3 runs in the 9th. Rutgers-Camden, too, had the bases loaded with nobody out. But a strikeout, pop fly, and another pop fly ended the game. So as quickly as Rutgers-Camden tried to stay undefeated in NJAC play, they were unsuccessful. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It'll be Donaway and Harrell, followed by Newell, 8-9-1, and we've got an Ephus pitch. That's the right move. Every time I see it, it's the right move, because when time is called, when the pitcher starts his rotation, a lot of times these young pitchers, they just stop. They panic. They don't know what to do. In that case, you just follow through with the rotation, because if you stop unexpectedly in your motion, that could hurt your arm in the long run, and that could be really dangerous. So, right move by Dempster there to make the play. Or to, I guess, throw an Ephus pitch at 30 miles an hour. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To Elijah Lonnie. Had a runner on first, but he was thrown out by Ryan Newell as he looks to keep this game scoreless. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And a swing and a miss. Half swing that time by Loney. And Jude Dempster gets his 4th strikeout of the night. And a runner at second was thrown out by Ryan Newell to keep the bases clean. We go to the top of the 3rd here in Williamstown. No score here between the Bulldogs and the Braves. Top of the 3rd inning, Glassboro's got 8-9-1 for the Bulldogs. Donaway, Harrell, and Newell. That one's low. 1 ball, no strikes. Dempster with 4 strikeouts for Glassboro. Cryer looking for his first on the varsity mound. That one is laced into left field. No, it's stopped at 3rd. The throw is high. But coming down to tag the bag is Braden Kearney for out number 1. I'll bring up the number 9 hitter. Harrell? Nope. Hold on a second. No, that is Ryan Newell. So I missed something somewhere. I apologize. Listen, I'm not perfect, but 5-3 ground out for Harrell. Starts the 3rd. Two balls, no strikes. That one gets away, 3-0. And if you're Glassboro here, we talked about capitalizing on mistakes. Williamstown hasn't really made any mistakes. There's only been one error in the field, and that was on the Bulldogs. And even then, that's a borderline error. It's not, it might be something that gets inputted differently on NJ.com. As that one is up and away. That's a 4-pitch walk to Ryan Newell, and he'll probably be pinch run for, or courtesy run, rather. See, is somebody coming in for him? No, they're going to leave him out there. You can pinch run / courtesy run for a pitcher or catcher at any time. It's usually only done, though, with 2 outs, and that's why they didn't run for him. He is safe. Newell with the stolen base. That's why Anthony Korma kept him on the base bags, and that will be a stolen bag. I don't think Jim Slade likes to call, but I thought he got in there. That was a tough play. The throw was a little bit wide from Kevin Devlin. So a 4-pitch walk followed by a stolen base puts Glassboro with a runner in scoring position. They had a runner in scoring position in the second, but they were unsuccessful. One ball, no strikes. Cryer throws back to second. Not in time. Got to imagine that Newell's going to get a green light from third if this ball drops in the outfield from the left-hander Tongue. Because Glassboro is not a team that's going to have too much hard contact. And there you go. Base hit right field. It's going to drop in front of Lonnie. Stop sign at third. It was picked up quickly. And runners will be on the corners. Newell watching the ball in the infield. It's a 1-out base hit for Tongue. And Glassboro now is 90 feet away from their first run. That's what I thought was gonna happen. I mean, I know I said that the third base coach was going to give the green light, but I also think that would have applied if the ball was hit to center field. Because once that ball was hit to right, once it was hit to the pull side, Lonnie was playing a few steps in and basically read that the ball was coming his way. So he did a great job of reading that ball and really allowing Williamstown, giving them a little bit of grace on the run. And now if you're Brennan Crosby, one swing, double play can end the inning. It's a foul ball down the right field line. Barely got out of play. And it's 0-1 to Crosby. Flew out to center in his first at bat. Oh, 0-1 to Crosby. Here's a ground ball. That one's going to go to second. There's one. Throw from short is in time. One swing could and will be a double play. 4-6-3. Started by Montone and continued by Desierno. As we go to the bottom of the third, Glassboro held off the scoreboard after a base hit and a walk by the Bulldogs. We'll be right back in just a moment in the bottom of the third. tucked between Williamstown High School. I meant it. That's the clock tower that is Williamstown High School. If I could ask a stupid question, I'd like to know why this isn't their permanent home field. Because they do have a field at Williamstown High School. It's about a half-mile away, and this is a big campus. But nonetheless, this field right in the community park of Williamstown, Earl E. Owens Park. I was telling my producer Vince during the break, this really does feel like a summer league game because the baseball game here is not the center focus of the facility. You know, when you're at Alcyon Park in April, the only thing going on is baseball, maybe softball. But in the summer, in July or in June, or even early August, when you go to Alcyon Park, there's a whole bunch of things going on. I remember a few years ago, we were getting annoyed by a youth soccer camp that kept blowing whistles every 10th of a second, and there were maybe 100 kids there. But again, it's the summertime. That one's outside, 2-2. To the batter, Tim Bufford. 8-9-1 for Williamstown. Bufford, Colbert, and Montone. It's Dempster looking to start off the third on the right foot, the 2-2. Ground ball, softly hit to third. Crosby bare hands it, has to shuffle. Throw is in time. Brennan Crosby, his second great play down at the hot corner. And he picks up the first out of the inning. Fantastic play by Brennan Crosby. That was a Nolan Arenado-style play down at third base as Crosby picks up the first out. I mean, there's not a lot of third basemen at that age that can make that play. Soft rolling ground ball. He understood that the glove side was not going to work and he was going to be safe. So he rips off the Band-Aid, gets the bare hand, and was able to make a clean throw on the run. I mean, that's a major league caliber play right there from Brennan Crosby. We'll show it after this. Actually, we can show it after this pitch. What we were doing yesterday versus Rowan and Rutgers Camden. It was quick on the draw. As the 1-0 to the 9-hitter is away. So let's take a look at this real quick. Just unbelievable what we were able to see here. Watch this ground ball here. It was kind of jammed short on the bat, and then Crosby comes in all the way down and makes that play. And you saw that he had to recover. He had to shuffle there, but he's able to make it. He was able to make it happen, which was phenomenal. And it's 3-0. This is kind of the cardinal sin for starting pitchers, is walking the 9-batter, because you're basically opening the door wide open for this top of the order, Montone, DeCierno, and Romero. And who knows, maybe Dempster will have some resiliency in his tank, but that's going to be a 4-pitch. No, excuse me. So I guess it's 3-1. Again, there's no scoreboard here, which is usually what we rely on, and we're also in the outfield 340-ish feet away. Really not a whole lot of spaces we could set up here at Williamstown, although I do love this setup. There's a strike, so we're going to be guessing from here on out. 2-2 is the count. Okay, so we were ahead on something, but it's just like those summer league games. There's no scoreboard, and sometimes you have to wait for the umpire's signal to make sure that you have the right count. As the 2-2. That one is lined back over the middle. Tongue grabs it. Another throw, not in time. That's an infield hit. It's Williamstown's first of the game, and they've got a 1-out base runner. That's the most admirable thing that you can do there if you're Glassboro. I was really hoping that Dempster didn't walk the 9-hitter, because, again, that would open the door wide open for this top of the order to do some damage. You're basically inviting them in by walking the 9-batter. But for Williamstown, you at least get some contact on it. You get a base hit back up the middle. Tongue did his best. He had a play. He had it up the middle. There was just a speedy guy in the box that won him out that time. Not really a whole lot you can do. Just smile and wave. Strike called. Newell wanted the back pick to first, decided not to. Stepping off is Dempster. Balls, 1 strike. Another throw over to first, not in time. Like we said, we'll see Williamstown again on May the 4th versus Gloucester Catholic in Tri-County Royal Division play. But Williamstown here looking to get on the board. Now that they've got their first hit, you've kind of boxed off that mark, as that's going to be a line drive to first. It's a double play. Unassisted double play, right place, right time, and with the runner going, there was nothing he could have done. Not his fault, but a 3 unassisted double play gets Dempster out of a light jam. We'll go to the top of the 4th inning. Zeros on the scoreboard on both sides here in Owens Park. Top of the 4th inning, first pitch is a strike called to Jude Dempster. 4, 5, and 6, Dempster, Evangelista, and McMahon. For Glassboro, here from Earl Owens Park. Instantly going on my list of one of my favorite venues here in South Jersey. I mean, listen, we've got a big wooden wall to our right. It's hard to see on camera, and honestly, it's hard to, I really wouldn't be able to show it properly on camera, but it has a manually operated scoreboard, although it's not being updated today, as Dempster, right field, hit pretty well. Going back, Lonnie will make the catch. It'll be the first out of the 4th. And this is going to be a game that could very well go down to who scores first wins the game, just like how it was with Clearview and Williamstown on opening day. When we saw Clearview and Williamstown back on March the 31st of last year, a game that Jimmy Gallagher started, he was hurt in the 2nd inning, came out of the game after giving up 7 runs. Clearview won the game 14-1. There were 2 home runs from Tyler Dell, who's now at Montclair State, and Ian Markison. That one's low and away. There's the seagulls flying over. You could hear that on our headset. I guess those are seagulls. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just regular birds. Neither Vince and I are bird experts. Canadian geese with a ground ball out to second base. Picked up. Off-kilter throw is in time. There's 2 down. Although the seagulls will be out soon to harass people with French fries on the Wildwood Boardwalk. Should be said, we're going to have 2 games in Wildwood this year, both on Friday nights, May the 8th and May the 22nd. Glad to partner with Rich Hans and Wildwood. They'll be playing Pleasantville on May the 8th and Middle Township on May the 22nd. So both non-conference games, but they won't be non-conference games next year with Wildwood leaving the Tri-County and joining the Cape Atlantic. That one's right back up the middle. There's a base hit. Goes into center field and a 2-out knock for Jim McMahon. Gives Glassboro a little bit of life here in the top of the 4th. But that's really how it's been all day. I mean, there really hasn't been an inning where I've felt that these pitchers or these hitters are going to break through. It's just been one runner apiece, really, each inning. Dare I say that it's been a low cortisol game for both of these teams. They really haven't been under that much pressure. They might be now. That's a base hit back up the middle. Back to back as Gonzadzik gets the base hit. So yeah, that cortisol might be turning up a little bit as we've got 2 on, 2 out here off of Tucker Cryer. And that's going to bring up the 9-hitter in Donaway, the designated hitter. There's a ground ball. First pitch, slow roller to first. Throw to the mound is in time, and the inning is over. So just as quickly as the rally began, it was shut down as a 3-1 putout ends the inning. For the first time today, Glassboro gets multiple runners on base, but they are all left stranded. Going to the bottom of the 4th, moving along here at Owens Park, no score. Jude Dempster still pitching here in the bottom of the 4th. It's been a pitcher's duel so far. Really, neither offense has been able to get it going. We're here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 base runner for Williamstown in the bottom of the 3rd. In fact, they've had a base runner every inning. They had an E5 in the 1st, a walk in the 2nd, but he was thrown out, and then a single in the 3rd that was very quickly taken away by an unassisted double play. So Dempster gets back to work here. There's a strike called on Anthony DeCerno. 2, 3, and 4 for the Braves. DeCerno, Romero, and Kearney. Also a fairly young team at Williamstown. This one's skied in the left center field. This is going to drop. Goes over the head of Tung. And it'll drop in front of the center fielder, McMahon. That is the 2nd hit of the game for Williamstown, and it comes off the bat of Anthony DeCerno. Puts the runner on here with nobody out. And that's what I was afraid was going to happen. Not afraid, but that's what I predicted was going to happen when we had that 1-out base hit by Colbert. I thought that the top of the order was going to really get the ball rolling, picked up where they left off, and maybe get some runs on the board, but that wasn't the case. We had that very quick unassisted double play. Look out. That one almost hit some kids down there on the third base side. That's going to continue to roll all the way into the parking lot, but it's 0-1. That's what I thought would happen, but then the tides shifted. We had that double play, but the clock didn't really reset for Williamstown. They've now had a little bit of a threat here with leadoff single. And now you've got arguably one of Williamstown's best hitters in Noah Romero. Romero, .333 hitter this season, 3 for 9. 2 of his 3 hits are doubles. Throw back to first, not in time. So if Romero can lace one in the gap, be an opportunity for Williamstown to get ahead here. Strike called. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning from Earl Owens Park in Williamstown. With DeCerno on first. He holds. That ball gets away. It skips off the chain link fence. It'll go back to Newell. And holding up at second will be DeCerno, so he'll drive his way into scoring position. And it'll be a 2-2 count to Romero. So now dealing with the runner on, runner in scoring position for Williamstown as they try to break what has been a long stalemate in this game. Maybe long relatively, considering we've had a lot of high-scoring games here on DWB this year. Really, the only one that wasn't was Overbrook-Pennsville. It was a 4-2 game this past Tuesday. As the 2-2. Strike 3 called. The ball popped out of Newell's glove, so the batter started to break for first. But no can do there, as there's one away. Yeah, that could have been trouble there with Newell. The ball just popped out of his glove, and that's considered a dropped 3rd strike. And the batter didn't realize it, so he started to break, but as soon as he did, Newell was there, and he applied the tag. Tune in for 4 games of baseball across 2 games this weekend. On Saturday, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, and Sunday, we'll go to the Hank Greenberg Field in Audubon for the 27th annual Ralph Shaw Classic. The 4 teams participating in this tournament are 2 usual foes and 2 new competitors. Audubon, of course, the host team, along with Bishop Eustis, who has won the tournament 4 times in the last 10 years. They'll face off against Ocean City at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and then Paul VI will visit the host team, the Audubon Green Wave, at 2:30 p.m. Here's a ground ball. Tongue's got it. Throw to first is in time. Does move the runner over, so the runner gets 90 feet within home plate. There's 2 away in the inning. But the 4 teams, as we said, Audubon, Bishop Eustis, Paul VI, and Ocean City. PVI was in the tournament back in 2019, I believe. And Ocean City, if I recall, has never been in the tournament. I could very well be wrong, I'm not sure, but very excited to see them tomorrow. It'll be Ocean City's first appearance on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. And then on Sunday, you know the drill with these 4-team tournaments. We'll see the consolation game on Sunday morning and the championship game on Sunday afternoon. That one is outside. Nope, called a strike. I told you I'd be getting thrown off by the home plate umpire. Again, nothing against him. It's just I have to go back to when I do softball games, and I have to wait and wait and wait for the strike to be called. Runner on third, the 0-1 from Dempster. Strike called to Matt DeCerno, the left fielder. Kevin Devlin will be in the on-deck circle if the inning continues. Although, for what it's worth, he does not have shin pads on. As there's a fly ball to right. Oh, it's over the head. That'll be the first run of the game. Misjudged in right field, now going to second. And it never touched his glove, so Matt DeCerno with an RBI double. And Williamstown is on the board thanks to a defensive miscue by the right fielder Gonzadzik, and it's 1-0. And even though it was a year ago, that's exactly what burdened Glassboro last time, and it was the defense. Now, while that play wasn't exactly egregious, it just, listen, he probably should have taken a step back and then tried to run in so that at the worst case scenario, if you can't see the ball, it's going to fall in front of you. That's how I would have done it. But instead, it ends up being an RBI double, and Williamstown is on the board by Matt DeCerno, scoring his brother, Anthony DeCerno, from third base. And with how Glassboro's offense has been here versus a first-timer in Tucker Cryer, it'll be really interesting to see how they evolve from that. As a breaking ball on the first pitch, a strike. I'm noticing more and more young pitchers are going to first pitch breaking balls as opposed to traditional. You usually, not always, but in most traditional situations would see a first pitch fastball. There's a strike called, another breaking ball, and it's 0-2. And I don't know if that's an evolution of how the game has changed, but obviously a lot of these pitchers are going more for overpowering prowess as opposed to deception. I'm still, even though I am only a few years older than these pitchers, I still am of the belief that I think a pitcher who throws 75 to 80% of his pitches for strikes but throws in the high 80s is more valuable than a 100-mile-an-hour pitcher who is uncontrollable and, walks 5 guys a game. I'm not saying that Dempster's one of those guys, but I'm saying that baseball as a whole has kind of evolved into that mindset. As it's 0-2. And I know sometimes people rag on me for those kind of comments, you old man. But no, it's a older style of thinking. As a high chopper, that one's going to go foul down the first base line. Because I remember there was a viral picture in spring training one time of the Washington Nationals in spring training, and it would say, "I don't care how fast you throw ball 4." And that's right. Doesn't matter if you throw your fastball 100 miles an hour if you can't touch the strike zone with a 39.5-foot pole. But now, those signs are gone, and we're all back into the, drive line, pitch analytics-driven style of baseball. That's a line drive. That gets into center field for a base hit. Matt DeCerno's coming around third. Here comes the throw. That's going to be cut off. It's an RBI single, a 2-run inning in the 4th for Williamstown. And they lead this one 2-0 as the offense finally gets the gears going. And the Braves on their home field are out in front. Back-to-back RBI singles. This time it comes from Devlin. It scores Matt DeCerno from second base. It's the second time he's reached in this game. And now Anthony Korma, the young head coach here for Glassboro, is going to talk to his man. The sectional champions from 2019. Not long ago were they a powerhouse in Group 1. Not to say that they aren't now, but they were the number 10 seed last year. They upset Riverside in the first round of South Jersey Group 1. Ended up falling to Shalleck, the number 2 seed in the second round. And then the South Jersey Group 1 tournament ended up being very much a chalk slate. Audubon, the 1 seed, versus Shalleck, the number 2 seed, with Shalleck winning that game 4-3. Would end up falling in the state semifinal to the Middlesex Blue Jays. The batter is Lonnie, the right fielder. 2 runs home for Williamstown here in the bottom of the 4th inning as they get their first offensive strikes, as that one's low. But I'll see how Williamstown responds here at the top of the 5th, or rather how Glassboro responds, because even though both of these pitchers are young, Tucker Cryer is a junior, Jude Dempster is a sophomore for Glassboro. Tucker Cryer, as we mentioned, is in his first varsity appearance. So there really is no information for us to go off of. But he's had four shutout innings, 1 strikeout, and only 1 hit allowed to Glassboro. And I don't care that it's a Group 1 in Glassboro and a Group 4 in Williamstown. To have that kind of pitching line in your first varsity appearance is quite admirable. Here's the 1-1. Skied foul out towards the woodlands of Gloucester County. Looks like there's some houses to our left here at Owens Park. Got to be nice to share a backyard with a park like this. Kind of like for Vince, those neighborhoods in Haddon Heights that share with the Devon Avenue Park and the 8th Avenue Parks as well. The 1-2. Ball inside. Throw down to second. It'll be close. The ball got away. Sliding in safely will be Kevin Devlin. So Williamstown continuing to run on Glassboro here. As after 3 scoreless innings, Williamstown finally gets some offense going with a 2-run 4th. An RBI double by Matt DeCerno and an RBI single by Kevin Devlin. That one gets away. So, pardon, it'll be Connor Turcasio running at third. He is the substitute runner for the catcher. And the count is now 3-2. And again, Glassboro is a very, I would say, very shallow depth on their roster, being a Group 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to try to ride Dempster for as long as he can. He has not pitched more than 4 innings this year, though. He's had 4 appearances. This is his 5th in 7 games, as there's a walk. You're seeing Ryan Newell come out halfway to home plate. It's now the 3rd straight base runner reached for Williamstown, as it'll be the number 8 hitter in Tim Bufford. Runners on the corners, 2 away. Williamstown and the Braves, 2 runs home. But like we said, here at Owens Park, the baseball game you have before you is not the focal point of today's festivities. There's a fitness court to our right. Straight behind us, there's a lacrosse game going on. Not sure of the age group, but it looks like maybe middle schoolers of some kind. There is a playground, just a general purpose playground, some tennis courts. There's another baseball field, or a softball field maybe. As the runner goes, ball pops out of Newell's glove, and the runner gets down to second. So Lonnie gets in there. There's also believe there's a ball hockey rink somewhere, because I know that the Monroe Braves are a very popular ball hockey team in South Jersey. In fact, there is a Williamstown baseball player, Jake Glenn, who won the Riverwinds Cup for Gloucester Township, scored 4 goals in a game that saw Gloucester Township take down Belmar. We were going to have ball hockey action next Sunday in Maple Shade, but that has been postponed for a litany of reasons. The 0-2. Breaking ball, strike 3, and Dempster, back to his old self, picks up the strikeout. That's his 6th of the night, but Williamstown gets the first chips away at the Bulldogs with 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll be right back after this. Going to the 5th, Braves 2, Bulldogs 0. Welcome back. 4 innings down here at Williamstown at Owens Park. This broadcast is brought to you by the South Jersey chapter of the National Adult Baseball Association. Registration is open and play has begun for the spring and summer seasons of 2026. As that one's fouled back, over 20 teams across 4 competitive divisions with highly competitive baseball being played at all levels of skill and all levels and all places of South Jersey. Visit SouthJerseyNABA, NABA.com for more information. 0-1. As the outfielder said, 9 and then top for Glassboro. So it'll be Harrell, Newell, and Tung as Glassboro is going to look to get on the board. They now trail at 2-0 after 2 RBI off the bat of the Braves. The strike called, 1-2. Williamstown last season in South Jersey Group 4. I mean, always have been South Jersey Group 4, but since being led by Jim Slade, they went 9-16 last year, 2-8 in the Tri-County Royal. Started off 1-4. Riffed off some big wins late in the season. That one's going to go back behind the plate, and he's going to run this out at first. That's going to be a dropped third strike. And the runner's going to get on for Glassboro. So there's some Williamstown guys that thought that was a foul tip. But instead, and it doesn't look like Jim Slade's going to argue it, just looks like it's going to be Will Harrell getting on a dropped third strike. So you don't see that too often, especially at the high school level, but the backstop is deceptively deep back behind the dish here at Owens Park. So the runner on first and Harrell. Another throw back to first. Tough play. He got him. Well, way to take care of the base runner. If you didn't like the call that they made to not call it a foul tip, then why not have the runner out at first? Just such a quick move there out on the mound. And listen, that's a first time on the mound. That's a rookie pitcher there, and Tucker Cryer making himself look like a veteran. He's out. Bang, bang play at first. There's 2 away. That just pokes such a huge gap in the sales for Glassboro. Had the 9-hitter on with a dropped third strike, thought you could maybe get the top of the order to transition this offense well, and then he's picked off, again, by a guy who didn't throw over to first that much so far. And the first pitch skied left field line, going over and letting this one trail. It'll go out of play. Somebody, yeah, a fan caught it. How about that? The gentleman in the blue shirt. You could see he's shaking his hand. That had to hurt. I heard the roar and I was like, there's no way that Matt DeCerno got over there, but no, it's a fan who made the catch. And he'll toss the baseball to a Williamstown player, and the Williamstown player is going to shake his hand. Oh, that's great. Fly ball into left field, a base hit. So I can't remember the last time I saw a high school game where somebody made a catch barehanded. Kid's going to remember that for a while. I think he's describing what happened. He didn't see it coming or something, but that's great. The gentleman in the blue shirt. I wish we got a replay of that. That was great. Oh, man. Pitch is low. To Crosby after the base hit by Tung. It's the second hit of the day for Tung, the shortstop. Crosby grounded into a double play in his first at bat. He's 0 for 2. Now another throw over to first. Quick tag, not in time. Here on a beautiful Friday night, getting a little bit chillier as the night goes on, but definitely not too bad as a breaking ball. Strike called, 1-1. Vince, you've got your jacket on, but I would say for me, I've got the short sleeves and I don't feel anything at all because I was in 35-degree weather on Wednesday. So this is like nothing comparatively. This ball roped left field. This one's pretty deep going back. It is caught shot at the left center field gap, right in front of the wooden sign. Matt DiCerno brings it in and keeps the game shut out with a beautiful play in left field. It was maybe better than the one the fan made as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. He's chatting it up with his center fielder, and deservedly so. That's a worthy catch. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 2-0 Williamstown. Welcome back, top of the 5th inning. The gentleman in the blue shirt there made maybe the best defensive play of the night, made a barehanded catch on a foul ball down the left field line. I was looking back at it on my phone. He's wearing a Williamstown 2025, I think that says 2025, senior shirt. So, if anything, he's repping his alma mater. More importantly, though, new pitcher on the hill for Glassboro. It's Brennan Crosby. 1-for-1 swap for Glassboro. Crosby comes in at the mound, and Dempster will go to third. So it'll be, like we said, a 1-for-1 swap. Dempster saw his first signs of trouble in the 4th inning. Gave up 2 runs. And Williamstown takes the lead in a 2-0 game. Crosby with a flat 3 ERA. He's certainly been holding down the fort for the Bulldogs. 3 ERA, 7 innings, 11 hits, 3 earned runs. You could hear the slap of the glove that time, 1-1. Dempster will lead off the top of the 6th for Glassboro. That's the 1-1. That one's away. 2-1. Colbert, leadoff batter for Williamstown. 2 balls, 1 strike. Crosby delivers. Ball skied, center field, now going back. This one's pretty deep, but straight away more than we thought. Taken in by McMahon. Ball looked good off the bat, but McMahon patrolling center field out of can of corn. And there's out number 1. So 2-0 Williamstown to go to the top of the order for Montone. And everybody in the infield and outfield says top, top, top. We did that all the time in Little League. It's like those birds in Finding Nemo. They go, mine, mine, mine. They want to make sure you know it's the top of the order. Strike called, 0-1 to Montone. He's 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in the first. Had a 3 unassisted double play in the third. So he's 0 for 2. Only 1 hit across the top 4 batters in the order. And that was Anthony DiCerno, had the base hit in the fourth, came around a score. Williamstown as a whole only has 4 hits. They got their first in the bottom of the third from Marco Colbert. And then 3 more in the fourth. 1 from Anthony DiCerno, 1 from Matt DiCerno. As that ball's laced out towards right center field. Going on, he can't get it. That's going to get away from McMahon. He's going to pick it up. No, he's going to defer to the right fielder. They're going to hold him at first. Good defensive awareness to keep Williamstown at bay. And that'll be a 1-out base hit for Mike Montone. Puts a runner on here for the Braves. Again, that's just good defensive awareness there. I was worried that when McMahon, first of all, it was a good idea to slide. I think that he was maybe just a foot or two too early. I don't think it was a bad decision for him to slide, and I think Korma will tell him that. But it was also a good idea not to chase the ball too wildly, because if you're sliding way too early, whoa, that one's way high. I think Crosby panicked that time because he saw DiCerno go into the bunt formation, and he just slipped on the pitch. But either way, if you're McMahon, ball gets down in front of you, right fielder comes to back you up in Gonzadzik, you're able to hold that runner at first thanks to partial hesitation by Williamstown, but also the quickness of that. And I also think the grass, if I'm looking at the grass, it does look a little bit tall here in the outfield. So I think that the ball is not going to roll that heavily if one gets down in the gap. That one's inside. You can see there where McMahon is standing. It's not super short for what it's worth. Strike called. 3-1. Got the 3-0 green light. That wind is really starting to pick up here. Something about that nighttime. Although sometimes the wind is worst during the day and not as bad at night. Line drive. Foul ball. Barely down the right field line. Chance that Evangelisti would have had a play on it. But nothing there. And it's 3-2. It's another time that Glassboro on the mound had a 3-0 count and then came back, made it a full count. You just can't walk him here. You're already down 2, and Korma's asking his outfielders to shift here for the lefty. Time is called at the plate. For Anthony DiCerno, he started out Williamstown's rally, and now we'll get a ground ball. That's going to be a bad hop, terrible hop in the right field. Runner's going to go to third. Montone is going to hold there. It'll be runners on the corners as maybe a most unfortunate ground ball hop got over the bag at first, past Evangelisti, and the runner's going to get on here as it will be runners on the corners for Williamstown. Now to bring up Noah Romero, the 3-hitter. I was just thinking there, what's the game plan if the ball gets down the line? Does that runner hold at second, or does he try to break for third? But it's now back-to-back base hits here off of Brennan Crosby. As here's Romero, 0 for 2, reached on an error in the first inning and struck out looking in the fourth. That ball pops out of the glove of Newell, runners hold. Like we said, there is a lacrosse match going on behind us, which is why you hear the whistles. No whistles in baseball, though. Crosby, the 1-0. Delivers outside, 2-0. Yeah, it's supposed to get, obviously it's a little bit chilly right now, but I think it'll get better once these leaves get on the trees, and we'll have some warm weather coming up this week. 2-0. Hit him right in the backside. Bases loaded for Williamstown. And this is trouble. 1 out. We talk about leaving the door open. You've just let up 3 straight base runners here with 1 out. The fly ball to center. And now Korma's going to come out. Is he going to call for... Well, that's actually not Korma. Looks like they're going to keep Crosby in the game. It's just the pitching coach, Brendan Crosby and Ryan Newell. Kearney will bat with the bases loaded when these guys are done talking it out. We talked about Saturday and Sunday. On Monday, we will travel down to Medford for a battle between Rancocas Valley and Lenape. 3:45 first pitch. And then on Wednesday, we will see, on Monday, we'll see Burlington Township and Northern Burlington. Apologies there. And then on Wednesday, we will see Paul VI and Cherry Hill West. And then no games Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I'll be taking a little bit of a vacation to Virginia. Down to UVA. His bases are loaded for Braden Kearney. Kearney laces one deep center field. McMahon going back. It's off his glove. 1 run comes in. 2 runs are going to score. And Braden Kearney with 2 runs coming in. That'll be an error on the center fielder. But it's 4-0 Williamstown. That's a killer right there. McMahon just, the ball popped right out of his glove. Would have had it. Probably would have saved a run. Because a sac fly was probably going to come in no matter what. And for Kearney, he won't even get the RBIs out of it because it's going to be the E8. You can see there just... And the reason why that's an error is here's a fly ball. Right field. That's caught. Runners coming home. No, they're going to hold him up. Wow, what a throw. Great throw from right field by Ginzadzik. That saves the run, and there's 2 away. So on the first pitch, he'll fly out to right. We've got runners on second, or pardon. We've got the bases loaded. What happened here? Yeah, I'm not. So that's Noah Romero on second, which checks out. And then I have no idea. Yeah, the bases are loaded, but we don't really know how that happened. Because it was runners on second and third. So yeah, I thought the run held, but okay, no, hold on. Here's what we have here. So Romero's on second. Kearney did not get to second. They sent him back to first, I think. I think he got down to second, and then there was a little bit of deliberation, and the umpire sent him back to first. So I think that it is now a 1-0 game, and that only 1 run scored because the runner was held up. The runner on third is Anthony DeCerno. It's got a foul ball down the third base line. But, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, 3-0. I'm sorry. I meant 1 run scored. That's what I meant. Yeah. So 1 run scored. That makes it 3-0. Because Kearney is on first. And then it's, yeah, so that's weird, but there'll be a swing and a miss, and the inning is over. So, apologies for the confusion. That was just a very odd play, but Williamstown leaves the bases loaded. They get 1 run home on an error in center field. So we'll go to the top of the 6th inning. Williamstown 3, Glassboro 0. Top of the 6th inning, night is falling here at Owens Park in Williamstown, New Jersey. Tri-County Conference non-division play. How about Tucker Cryer? 5 innings, shutout ball, first varsity appearance. So strike is called to Dempster, 4, 5, and 6. Dempster had 4 innings. He is now the third baseman in the game. And the 0-1. Another strike called, 0-2. Again, we believe, we'll confirm if needed, but we believe that the score is 3-0 because there was a little bit of confusion on the bases during that error off the bat of Braden Kearney. But the way that it was is we had the game as 4-0 because Kearney had gotten down to second base and 2 runs had scored. But then they had him at first, and I mean, the only way I could have seen it wrong is if I accidentally picked up the on-deck batter as somebody who crossed home plate. But a catch is made in right by Elijah Lonnie. And there's one away as Dempster's retired. So here's Evangelisti. First pitch to Evangelisti is a strike called. But again, for both of these teams, offense has not been their mojo this season. Really, pitching has been their mojo. Although Glassboro with an ERA over 5, Williamstown with a team ERA of 1.5, and if Tucker Cryer leads a shutout effort, that ERA probably is going to get down below 1. So that's going to be interesting. But we've got a 1-1 count to Evangelista, 0 for 2. Fly out to right in the second inning. Ground ball to second in the 4th. That one's high, 2-1. Evangelista and then McMahon, even though he hasn't had the cleanest bill in center field, he does have 2 base hits. 2 of Glassboro's 3 today, line drive foul. 2-2. Glassboro, though, you're not down by an impossible amount. You know, when we were watching Millville and Vineland on Wednesday night, it seemed like Millville didn't have any gas left in the tank, and that an 8-run game with how good Jamie Toro was, it felt almost given that Vineland was going to win the game, and they did. But if you're Glassboro, you're down by 3 versus a guy who doesn't have any prior innings in varsity ball. So he's very much projectable in both directions, in the sense that he can be projectable in a good way and in a bad way because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how he's going to do under pressure. Outside. And it's 3. Nope, that's ball 4. I was going to say I thought I was wrong, and then and then I realized we were right the whole time. So that is ball 4 to Evangelista, and now the batter will be Jim McMahon. So 2 singles for McMahon in the 6th slot. Or pardon, Glassboro is they have 5 hits. I don't know where I got 3 from. McMahon has 2, Tung has 2, and Gonzadzik, who's in the on-deck circle, has 1. McMahon 2 for 2, as we mentioned. Got to second base both times before being stranded. Glassboro left a runner on in the 2nd, 2 on in the 3rd, another 2 on in the 4th, and another one on in the 5th. Makes for 6 total. Not egregiously high, but when you don't have any runs on the board, 6 base runners suddenly becomes an awful lot. You know, if you have 6 base runners left on, but you have 10 runners or 10 runs, that doesn't become as bad as if you have 6 base runners and no runs on the board. But Williamstown leads 3-0 here over Glassboro at Earl Owens Park. I'm Dan Wilkins, along with Vincent Focht, my producer. We'll have the Ralph Shaw Classic tomorrow, as now they're going to take him out. Well, I don't think he threw a pitch yet to McMahon. There was a delay. And then now the infield is coming in. I don't think they're taking Tucker Cryer out yet, though. This 5'11", 165-pound right-hander. Even if this is his last batter, what a performance it's been. Even though 5 hits, only 1 strikeout, but that doesn't define his day. The fact that he has a shutout effort this deep in the game is truly admirable. And it honestly might be worth player of the game honors. Because the 2 runs came home on, pretty run-of-the-mill RBIs, but they say pitching wins championships. And to have a strong pitching staff like Williamstown has with guys like Braden Kearney and Jimmy Gallagher that commit to Appalachian State, if you can add another arm to the arsenal in Tucker Cryer, that is going to do dividends for the Braves, especially in a highly contested Tri-County Royal. It's a strike called for the Braves after today. They'll wrap up their spring break, and they will travel to GCIT in Sewell on Monday, and then over to Vineland. That actually should be a fun game, Williamstown-Vineland on Thursday. 4 o'clock first pitch. And when it's low, 1-1 from Cryer. And then we'll see Deptford, or they'll see Deptford on Saturday, the 18th, and then they'll have back-to-back with Kingsway. They'll visit Woolwich Township on Tuesday the 21st, and then home to the Dragons on the 22nd. This ball's flied out towards right field. Lonnie going over, going back. He'll make the catch right at his chest level. He'll hold the runner at first, and that'll be out number 2. As McMahon, who was 2 for 2 going into that bat, finally is retired. There's 2 down. So that will bring up Gonzadzik, the right fielder. But for Williamstown as a Group 4, things really don't get easier because their next 7 games are against Groups 3s or 4s. In fact, all of them are Group 4 except for Deptford on the 18th, which is a Group 3, and Shawnee on Saturday the 25th. It's broken up by their next game versus a Group 1 Camden Academy charter on the 30th of April. And even after that, they don't have any other. This is their first of 2 games the entire season against a school that is smaller than a Group 3. Otherwise, they have your standard Tri-County Royal Fare, but you also have Highland, Holy Spirit, St. Joseph Hamilton, Timber Creek, and Ocean City. Back pick to first, not in time. But all of those schools, very formidable schools at that, are all Group 3s and 4s with the exception. Listen, non-public schools are difficult because even though the student population can be small, you do recruit. So that kind of takes the population of it out the window. Fly ball, foul, and it's 1-2. As Williamstown looks to get some final insurance in the bottom of the 6th, they will bat 7, 8, and 9. Lonnie, Bufford, and Colbert. First time seeing both of these teams this year on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, but Williamstown making a strong impression as they look to improve to 3-2 on the year, and as Glassboro looks to avoid a slip to 1-6 as time is called at the box. We mentioned we'll be in Audubon Saturday and Sunday for the Ralph Shaw Classic. The 4 teams in that tournament: Audubon, Bishop Eustace, Paul VI, and Ocean City. Here's the 1-2 upstairs. No throw back by Devlin. First game tomorrow will be Bishop Eustace and Ocean City at 11 a.m. Second game will be Paul VI versus Audubon at 2:30. First game for Eustace and Ocean City, home team will be decided by a coin toss prior to the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on first for the Bulldogs, and a liner foul. Just got over the chain link fence over there. And how about this pace of play? It's 7:48 right now, but it took us just 59 minutes to get through the first 4 innings of the game. Through the first 3.5 innings of the game. 4th inning, bottom half, was really where Williamstown started to bring the game to a grinding halt. Although still, if you can get this game in a 2-hour, 2:15 mark, not going to be too bad. Not as bad as the, I think, nearly 3-hour game that we had with Oakcrest and Buna. Was 2 hours, 49 minutes in a wild one. Throw back to first, not in time. As we mentioned, next week following Sunday's events, we'll travel up to Columbus Township for Northern Burlington hosting Burlington Township at 3:45, BCSL Liberty play. And then on Wednesday, Paul VI and Cherry Hill West from Tom Trotman Field. Inside. Wonder if that's the last straw for Tucker Cryer. I mean, he's done so well, but that at-bat was grueling. It wound up his pitch count. And now you've got Gadzadzik, the batter, Ryan Gadzadzik here. They already have their one mound visit. So if Jim Slade comes out of that dugout, it has to be to pull him from the game. Which, as much as it would be unfortunate, you've got 5 2/3 shutout innings. It would be nothing to fret at to pull him here. But Williamstown will extend its leash and will kind of extend an olive branch here as they'll try to get Tucker Cryer out of the jam. It's always good, though, for a rookie to work through adversity. Because if he has to work through adversity in an early season, low-stakes game on a Friday night, then what does it mean for him to work through adversity in a playoff game? He's got to be able to do both. You got to be able to show up when it matters. It's 1-1 here. Williamstown was warming up a right-hander in the bullpen. I didn't catch his jersey number, but he was warming up down the left field line. Gallagher? Yeah. That'll be Gallagher in the bullpen. I'm surprised he'd be coming out for the 7th, but a swing and a miss. Gallagher's been primarily a starter when we've seen Williamstown. Again, the Appalachian State commit, transferred from Gloucester Catholic. We saw him on opening day in 2025. Wasn't his best day, though. They gave up 7 runs in the first 2 innings to Clearview. And Clearview ended up winning that game in 5 innings, 14-1. I think Gallagher was injured in that game. So, again, extending oh, hold on here. Throw back to second, not in time. Tucker Cryer caught everybody off guard, including us, but he tried to throw down to second there. 2 on, 2 out, 2 strikes for Williamstown. After a scoreless first 3 innings, 2 runs in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, they'll look for more insurance in the 6th. The 1-2. Line drive, fair, left field line. That's going to go towards Nacero in right field. Runner coming in to score. Glassboro's on the board, slide in at third. He is out. The run counts as signaled by the home plate umpire as Evangelisti came in to score, but McMahon was thrown out from left field by Matt DeCerno. As it's 3-1, the shutout effort is over, but we go to the bottom of the 6th as Williamstown, given their first rattling here in this one as a late 2-out RBI single. And again, as we said, the run does count as according to the home plate umpire. It's 3-1, going to the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th inning, pitching change for Glassboro. Just one frame for Brennan Crosby. And it will be Ryan Gadzadzik on the hill. First pitch is a strike. The sophomore, he's listed as a utility man for a reason. He only had 1 inning last year for Glassboro. 1 inning. He had 5 runs given up, but only 1 of them were earned. That one's upstairs. And Gadzadzik recorded the final out of the inning. Except he had the RBI, so he came out on a high note. It was the RBI single. The 1-1. Inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. So yeah, Evangelista scored. And McMahon was thrown out at third. So Glassboro will bat 8, 9, and 1 in the 7th. Donaway, Harrell, and Newell. But for now, in the bottom of the 6th, we lead off with Elijah Lonnie, the right fielder. Has made some good plays out there today. It's a fly ball. Popped up and out of play. 7, 8, and 9 for Williamstown. Lonnie, Bufford, and Colbert. After the strong 5th inning that they had, they batted 7 batters in each the 4th and the 5th. They brought home 2 runs in the 4th, RBI double by Matt DeCerno, and an RBI single by Kevin Devlin. Line drive, caught at third. My camera's not quick enough for your fielding action, Mr. Crosby. Makes that nice play after leaving the pitching mound. They'll be 1 away. So here's Bufford. As we said, after today, Williamstown only has 1 game against a Group 1 or 2 opponent, and that's Camden Academy charter. For Glassboro, it's quite the opposite, obviously, because they are a Group 1. They will host Wildwood on Wednesday the 15th. This one's fouled back. They will travel up Route 130 to Delran to visit Holy Cross on the 16th, and then they will compete in the Jim Kelly tournament that is held at Gloucester City High School. It will consist of Mastery Charter, Glassboro, Gloucester City, and I believe Salem, because Salem's been in it for a little while. And yes, it is. So it's Salem, Mastery Camden, Glassboro, and Gloucester City. Glassboro will play Mastery Camden in the first round. I believe they play 1 game at the JV field, the other game at the varsity field, and then they switch. If you lose, you go to the JV field. If you win, you go to the varsity field. That's how the Joe Lang tournament works. It's the same format. I mean, they're all really the same format. 4 teams, the ground ball foul. The Joe Lang works the same way. This year it consists of Cinnaminson, Highland, Gateway, and Pittman. We'll be there on the Saturday the 25th. But teams like those small tournaments because it guarantees you 2 games. And it's 2 games against opponents that, you know, are of pretty similar makeup to you, probably with the exception of the Ralph Shaw, because that is kind of its own beast. That'll be a strike called, but the ball pops out of Newell's glove. Throw to first is in time, and we avoid a fiasco like earlier with the drop third strike. There's 2 down. As we're going to hit the 2-hour mark on this game. Listen, the 2-hour mark is the baseline. You know, if you get above 2:30, 2:45, those games get long. First strikeout for Gadzadzik this year, his 2nd in his career. But the assumption is with the save situation that Gallagher will throw the 7th, because that's who's warming up, and he'll go for the save. Swing and a miss, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Trying to keep Williamstown off the board, and it hit him. Looked like it hit him. He stayed in the box for a second, but we'll go to the top of the order after Colbert's hit by pitch. And the batter will be Montone. Had a single and scored in the 5th. Was going to say, there's a, like we said, there's a lacrosse game going on behind us, but I don't know what's going on because half the lights are on, but half the lights are off. So I guess they turned off the lights. I guess they turned off the lights to one field and they turned on the light for the other field. Yeah, it's lacrosse. Who am I kidding? 2-0. Throw back to first, not in time. Here in the woodlands of Gloucester County. Wonderful park. I mean, I've never been here before, but just so many different, I mean, I see through the trees, I see some pickup basketball. There's a softball field. We saw volleyball nets, pickleball. That one's high. Throw back to second. A weird hop. I think that one hit off the mound as Newell really short-sided the throw. And the runner will get down to second. So Williamstown really looking for insurance here in a 2-run game. Colbert advances to second. But you can almost guarantee that Montone's not going to swing on 3-0. So just give him a fastball right down the pipe and send some confidence back in your system. Because you don't want to walk the guy on 4 pitches and then send it over to Anthony DiCerno, who's got 2 hits today. And he does walk him. Missed high on the fastball. Again, that's not what he was going for. You could very much tell in his body language that was not at all what he was aiming for. The batter will be Anthony DiCerno. Williamstown 3, Glassboro 1. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning. If you have any questions or comments about tonight's broadcast, send me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That's thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We also accept donations via our Venmo at DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens. We aren't being paid for today's broadcast, and for the vast majority of ours, we do it to advance our careers in sports broadcasting and to advance the careers of these athletes in South Jersey and bring exposure to programs all throughout the Garden State. So that is our Venmo, DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens. Of course, not required, but any contributions are greatly appreciated. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here with 2 runners on after the hit by pitch to Colbert and a walk to Montone. Batter is Anthony DiCerno. Singled and scored in the 4th. Singled and did not score in the 5th. Ground ball, busting it out of the box. Slow roller to second. Tough play. Not going to have a play. He's safe. Oh! He might have been safe by 5 steps. They called him out. Jim Slade is irate about the call. And I personally don't blame him. I think he was safe. Williamstown, a controversial call to end the inning. We'll take a look at it here. Let's take a look at this play here. So, obviously no replay review. Glassboro taking the field now. It was a slow grounder, got it out of the box. Oh, wow. All right, let's slow this down one more time here. I'm going to slow it to half speed. So looking at it again with the lefty out of the box. We're going to go frame by frame here. Oh, wow, yeah. If you look at it, I think he was safe by at least a step. All right, there you go. That's him touching the bag. You could see look at the first baseman. You could see that he actually was surprised that was the call. Well, Ty would go to the runner. Wow, that's a controversial one to end the inning. But Jimmy Gallagher is in to close this one out, and we'll be back in just a moment. Jimmy Gallagher, the Appalachian State commit and transfer from Gloucester Catholic, is on to pitch the top of the 7th inning here for Williamstown. If they win, it'll be their 2nd win in a row. And for Gallagher, he'll look for his first save of the season. 8 innings. He pitched 2 innings versus Delsea in a 7-6 loss, and pitched 6 versus Clearview on opening day back on March the 30th. He's got a 0.88 ERA in 8 innings, but that has been a huge turnaround from last year. He had a 7.32 ERA last season as a junior in his first season with the Braves. So we get to see the Division I commit in action here versus the Bulldogs. So 27 hits last year in 22 innings, 20 walks, 33 Ks. He just didn't have his best stuff, but I think the injury bug that got him at the beginning of the season really brought him down. And he's going to look to turn that tide for the better with that little stuttered leg kick that we know of from Gallagher. There's a strike called, 1-1. Again, he'll be headed to Boone, North Carolina next season to play in the Sun Belt Conference for Appalachian State. That one is low and away. Some Williamstown folks didn't like that call. It's 2-1. And there's only so much you can do. (3-1). So Glassboro leading us off in the 7th with Wolfgang Donaway. 8-9-1. Donaway, Harrell, and Newell. The 3-1 from Gallagher is low and away. Ball 4. That just was way outside there. Missed the mark by Gallagher. I don't think that was a terrible at bat. He just has to lock it down a little bit. Again, so many things can happen here with one runner on and nobody out. A home run ties the game, but a double play is just as likely to end the game. To put 2 outs on the board and make you 2 steps closer to ending the game. So a lot of things can happen here. But I think Gallagher's got to work on controlling his own here. Like we said, he had 20 walks in 22 innings last year. That'll always make for a high whip, and even though these coaches are looking at his individual ability, obviously for him headed to Appalachian State, if he gets a big swing and a miss, runner decides to hold. That ball really didn't trail far enough away from Devlin for him to run anyway. So I don't disagree with it at all. But Will Harrell, with a walk, a dropped third strike. And now the ball gets away. That time it's safe for the runner to advance. Excuse me, for Cody Harrell. So the runner advances on the wild pitch. And now a quick get yourself on the same page meeting with Devlin and Gallagher. I mean, you really got to wonder what Gallagher's game plan is going to be here, because listen, as a pitcher, telling your pitcher to throw not as hard is almost an impossible task, because it's muscle memory. It's what you have trained years and years to do. So you really have to take a different avenue with a swing and a miss there and tell your guy to locate his pitches a little bit differently. You know, that's what these catchers are talking about. As much as we would say it's easy for him, he's throwing too hard and he's not controlling the zone, that's almost impossible to ask a pitcher to throw slower. You know, it's like asking a truck with no brakes to slow down. You know, it's not going to happen. But that's how it is. These pitchers train and train and train, and that goal, day after day, is to get the velocity higher. So if Gallagher can't control the strike zone here, Glassboro could be in business. With Harrell the batter, Cody Harrell, 3 balls, 2 strikes, time called at the plate. Glassboro with a loss would fall to 1-6 on the season. Williamstown would improve to 3-2. And that's ball 4. The runner is going to hold. That ball skipped away from Devlin, and the tying run is on base with the 8 and 9 hitters, and the cheering you hear behind us is because the lights just turned back on at the lacrosse field. So I think that the lights went out, and now they're doing some pyrotechnic thing. I wish this game wasn't as close right now so you could see the pandemonium behind us, but it's up and in. So there's 2 lacrosse. I think what they did is they accidentally turned off the lights of the first pitch, the one closest to us, and then turned on the lights of the one further away. So they resumed the game on the other field. And now the players were just waiting around. So our game, though, knock on wood, no lighting delays. Oh, yeah. Vince was joking with me. There's wood over there, as in this wooden fence over in left center field. 2 on, nobody out. And this is not what you want for Williamstown, because if it's one thing to walk the 1 and 2 hitters, but to walk the 8 and the 9 hitters in this position really could turn this game on its head. With the leadoff man in Ryan Newell. First pitch foul, 0-1. Or 1-1, excuse me. Ryan Newell, the batter. 0 for 2. Fly ball to right in the first. Ground out in the 5th. A walk in the 3rd. He advanced to 3rd. But Glassboro's first and to this point only run came in the 6th inning. That ball's flied out to right field. Lonnie is there. And they're going to hold all the runners up because nobody was back at the bag. That ball looked really good off the bat. I thought that Lonnie had made a mistake by taking a step in, but he actually made the perfect step to retire Newell. There's one away now for Tongue. I was really deceived by that. I thought the ball was higher up in the air. But now the batter is Joey Tung, the sophomore. That's low. As we said, Glassboro, one of the youngest teams in South Jersey. 7 sophomores in their starting lineup this afternoon. When we saw them back in April of last year versus Woodstown, they had 5 freshmen. And all 5 of those freshmen that were in the lineup last year were in the lineup tonight for a small Glassboro roster. That one is outside on the breaking ball, 2-0. So Tung, 2 for 3. Tapped out to the mound in the first, and then 2 singles. So he's 2 for 3. Tying run on base, but a double play can end it. And that's outside, 3-0. Here's the thing, though. The person that this would hurt the most is Tucker Cryer, because he threw 6 innings. The 1 run he gave up was, hold on here, we got time called. All right, so it is, I think they said it was 2-1. I think the umps didn't have the count right. I'm not sure, but we'll wait here. Batter showing bunt. That's low. No, that is ball 4. So it was a 3-0 count, and the bases are loaded. This is 3 walks for Gallagher. He's just having severe command issues. You got to wonder what the straw will be. Because if you let Glassboro take the lead, that's what I was going to get around to saying, was that I would feel super bad for Tucker Cryer. 6 innings. He would have had a shutout if not for that 1 RBI in the 6th. And even then, he was about 5 feet away from having a shutout because the run wouldn't have crossed the plate. 3 walks, no hits for Glassboro in the 7th. That one's high. And every ball that Glassboro dugout is just going to get louder and louder. A walk to Donaway, Harrell, and Tung. We've had some blowout games. This is not one of them. That is what we were looking for from Jimmy Gallagher, 1-1. Yeah, that's what we were looking for. It was a nice pitch. Listen, his pitch movement is great. His sliders, they could wipe out a lot of batters. It's a nasty pitch, but you got to locate it closer to the zone. Did he go? They will say yes. Bases loaded, 1 out. 2-run game. Big school versus little school here under the lights from Owens Park. Swing and a miss. 2 outs. Talk about a drama-filled 7th inning. You just got Jude Dempster, the number 4 batter. And now it's going to be Evangelista. So Evangelista the batter. 3-1 Williamstown from Gallagher. Swing and a miss. It's going to be 0-2. This game has been tough for Williamstown. It has been a toughening game here under the lights. Gallagher's pitch. He got him! Crisis averted. Jimmy Gallagher with the save, and Williamstown wins this one 3-1. As Glassboro leaves the bases loaded, Gallagher walked 3 batters, but luckily a strikeout to Dempster and a strikeout to Evangelista. Gallagher came to his senses, and that's the ball game. Time of game, 2 hours, 19 minutes. And Gallagher with the save, the win, and our player of the game goes to Tucker Cryer. 6 innings in his first ever varsity appearance. He only had 1 strikeout, but the contact pitcher did what he needed to do, and the 1 run that Glassboro got was only because of a runner thrown out at third. Williamstown improves to 3-2 on the season. Glassboro falls to 1-6. Williamstown's next game will be on Monday as they will face off against GCIT in Tri-County Royal play, and Glassboro's next game will be on Wednesday the 15th versus the Wildwood Warriors. From our entire crew on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our social media coordinator Haley Mejia, our graphics crew Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti, my producer Vincent Focht, I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you tomorrow for a non-conference matchup between Bishop Eustis and Ocean City in the Ralph Shaw Classic, followed up by Paul VI and Audubon. It'll be 4 games across Saturday and Sunday, and baseball action you won't want to miss. Have a good one, folks.